I think Claude Cowork is the next evolution of how we use LLMs, and I think we'll see a massive adoption in 2026. With Cowork, Claude can now take actions on your folders on your own PC, connect to your entire software stack, and start doing day-to-day tasks for you. So in this video, I'll show you how to set it up, how it compares to Claude and Claude Code, and how to use it like a pro with Claude Skills, which I think will replace a lot of your projects, custom GPTs, and even some of your end-to-end or automation workflows. I've been using Claude Cowork for the past couple of weeks, and it's already changing how I work. Now, before showing you a demo, what actually is Cowork and how it is different from Claude and Claude Code. Claude and LLMs, of course, were mostly limited to chat abilities of doing and answering questions, FAQs. But now most people know Cowork for being able to take actions on folders on your computer, being able to connect it to your entire software stack. And I think the biggest game changer is being able to build and use skills in Cowork. Now, many people have been using and building skills up until now through Claude Code, but Cowork makes it much more accessible to everyone. I'll explain in a sec how skills work and show you some demos and how to set them up. But it also seems like Claude Cowork has much more of a planning capabilities, just like Claude Code has. So I think in the end, we'll see more and more adoption of Cowork for day-to-day office works or tasks that it will likely have a superior interface for these types of tasks as well. Claude Code more for building production-ready applications, and Claude for more brainstorming and questions and answers use cases. So in this video, I'll first cover how file accessing and organizing works, then connectors, then MCPs and browser use, then what I think is the most powerful part, which is the Claude skills and use cases and how to set them up, and lastly, how do you do code execution within Claude Cowork. Alright, so what do you need to get started with Cowork? First, you need a Claude Pro, Team, or Enterprise subscription. It's not available on free tier yet. Secondly, you need a Claude desktop app. Cowork doesn't run in browser yet, so it's desktop only. So if you're on a playpen and you have updated your Claude desktop app, you should have Cowork available here in the second tab next to Claude Code. Now, the feature most people have been talking about, which is cool, but I don't think it's the biggest feature of Cowork, is file accessing or organizing. So as you can see here, I can basically give it access to a folder on my computer, for example, downloads, okay? And now Claude can take actions and read the files in this folder. For example, I can ask it to organize my download folders. Claude, can you help me organize my download folders? So you can see it start asking me some questions first. And then this is sort of like planning capabilities that comes from Claude Code, which I really like. So how would you like me to organize your files? Let's say by file type, okay? So you can see here what I found in the folder you've selected, okay? The images, you have documents, and you have videos as well. Now it's creating an organized folder structure and putting everything in the right folders. And you can see it makes this plan here and goes through the entire plan step by step. So it's now organized my downloads folders, as you can see. So quite a useful feature, especially if you're unorganized like I am. Now, of course, you can also use this for many other use cases. For example, you can have folders where you give Claude context on your business, your ICP, your tone of voice. So when you're writing something new, you can just ask Claude to go through your specific context without having that all saved in a separate project. And this becomes especially powerful with skills, which I'll go into it in a second. But first, let me cover some connections quickly. So first, we have built-in connections from Claude. So if you go here to settings in Claude and you go to connectors, you'll see all the built-in connectors from Claude. So we can just choose one, connect it, and then we can automatically start taking actions and getting data from all these softwares. Now, if your software is not listed here, you can also add your own MCPs. That's the way it connects to software manually. So you can go here to the developer section, Generally, you can just type in Google, for example, for your specific software. Let's say Webflow here is where my website is built. I can go to MCP Claude, and if it's available, it will pop up in the documentation. And it will usually give you the instructions on how to set it up. So in my case, I can just go here and say Claude Desktop. And it will give me the step-by-step instructions on how to connect my MCP manually with Claude Code. So I've already done that here in the developer section. Basically, what you do is you open Claude Desktop config.json file, and then you add whatever is here in JSON. You just paste that in a web editor, save the file, and then you have the MCP connected. So that's how you do it manually. Now, if the software you want to connect doesn't have a specific MCP server yet, there are two other options. The first one is setting up manually through NNN. So in NNN, we can set up our own MCP servers and then connect them to all the different API calls or actions we want to take in the software. So for example, here, I have a Uniflow LinkedIn server, so I can send messages on LinkedIn. Then we connect this MCP from NN to Claude in order to take actions, okay? I'll have a full video on setting this up, but I'm not going to cover it here in this video, okay? Then the last options you have is to use Claude Browser. So instead of connecting through APIs and MCPs, we actually can let it use our browser to access the software. Now, how do we use these connections? You can just tell Claude. So we can say, can you check what ideas I have in my Notion YouTube tutorial pipelines? You can see it, go get the ideas out from my Notion pipeline. You can start working on them and update them directly in Notion. So for browser use, we can either ask it to use the browser. So if in the case that whenever we ask him to access a tool that it doesn't have access to, it will automatically trigger the browser. So we can say, do research on Claude Cowork use cases. And then you will see it automatically starts using my browser. The nice thing is that we can have this running in the background while we're working on other tasks. So you can work on multiple things at the same time. Now it's scrolling and finding use cases. Okay, SEO automations, document processing, knowledge management, and so forth. Now, all this is cool, but I think the real power is using these features together inside a skill. So what are skills? Save a specific instructions or process and knowledge sources to best execute task or workflow. You can think of it like a system prompt, but you can now trigger multiple skills in the same task. You only load with the knowledge when the skills is triggered, so you don't overload the context window. You can connect skills to your software stack, so tasks can update things like Notion automatically. So it becomes a repeatable and reliable workflow. Many of our day-to-day tasks require a lot of human in the loop. Skills fit perfectly between rigid automation tools and raw prompting. You can use built-in skills, community skills, or build your own. Okay, built-in skills are available under settings and capabilities. There are also marketplaces like Smithy.ai, Skill Hub, Skill SMPP, where people share skills. All you have to do is just download the skills as a zip file and upload it into Claude Cowork. Once uploaded, you can invoke the skill by asking Claude to use it. You can also combine a skill with your own business context. You can even adapt a skill and create your own based on it. The most powerful way to create a skill is to walk through a task once manually with Claude and then save it as a skill. For example, repurposing a YouTube video into a newsletter. You download the transcript, suggest subject lines, choose a hook, and then write the newsletter step by step. Once saved, the skill can repeat this exact process in the future. You can also convert old projects or system prompts into skills. Just paste the system prompt and add knowledge sources and ask Claude to create a skill. Now you can use multiple skills in the same context windows instead of jumping between projects. This has worked so far better for me than traditional projects or system prompts. One last thing is code execution in Claude Cowork. It's very different from Claude Code. In Claude Cowork, you can use codes for specific tasks like data visualization or image formatting. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoy it, and please like and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.